Okay, hello everybody. Good afternoon. So this is our next session, which is lesson number 19, and we are going to understand about functional interface. So let's get started with this. I think you can see my PPT. Okay, perfect. Let's see if I'm live and everything is fine, and then we are going to start this session. Okay, perfect. Let's see Fine. So I think everything is fine. Let's get started. So, hi everyone. Good afternoon. So this is lesson number 19. Already we have completed some of the 16 session, I guess. Two of the sessions are private right now. That is multi-threading and one more coding session. That will be done later on, not now. I think multi-threading will be done today at night, maybe late night. So we'll do that. But right now we have to understand about function interface. So we'll see this. There's a new feature which is there in Java. Uh, the latest Java. It's there from a long time, but yeah, this is at least a new feature which we have got today. So if you guys are not knowing what is happening, if you guys are new here, then let me just introduce myself and also about what is going on here. So we are CodeBeyond channel. We are providing different knowledge or different topics on different domains. Other educators are also there who are teaching DSA, CP, backend, frontend, and all those things. So I've also come up with one of the playlists which was front-end development. I have covered HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and JavaScript. If you have not seen that, please go ahead and watch it. If you want to become a front-end developer, you can go ahead and watch those sessions. It will become uh, a total playlist for you to crack an interview of front-end developer, right? So my name is Ritwik Raj and I'm a corporate trainer. I've also worked as a subject matter expert in most of the tech companies. I have 3+ years of teaching experience and I've trained graduates and corporate employees from ICE and Capgemini. I've trained more than 30K students till now, and this which I take is mostly into front-end development, backend, database, and interview preparation, like tips and tricks on how to crack interviews. Already I've covered a 4-hour session on this particular topic, which is interview preparation. So if you have an interview which is coming up ahead in next week, or you know maybe next to next week, you can go ahead and watch those sessions because it will let you prepare how to actually get prepared before an interview, right? What you have to do last night or what you have to do before that, those all things I've been sharing there. You can also use my code RIT10 to get a free level sample test paper. If you do not know about Relevel, don't worry. In just 1 minute, I'm going to tell you about that. But if you do know about Relevel, you must be knowing that you have to give an actual test. So this sample test paper will actually help you out in a much more better way. So please do use the coupon code, which is RIT10. I'll let you know where to use it, and I'll also let you know how to register yourself. But first, let's understand what is this level, right? Because it will also help you a lot of time to understand that how you can get inside a company or get hired. Because most of the times, candidates do get rejected, their resumes do get rejected because of multiple reasons. So let's say that a candidate is having a BSc or BCom degree and they want to jump into IT sector, they want to jump into a IT field. They have the skills, they have the talent, but still their companies are rejecting their resumes. They're not being able to get interviewed because of the fact that they are not B or BTech graduate, right? This is one of the reason which is there in India, and also some of the times the B and BTech graduates as well, their resumes are also getting rejected because of their college. They're from tier 3 college. Most of the MNC companies hire from tier 1, tier 2, maybe because they think that tier 1, tier 2 colleges are better than tier 3 colleges. Yes, but still some of the people are there who are good and better than tier 1, tier 2 students. So these are the things which are happening in India, and that's why Relevel came into the picture. So this is India's first self-study platform by Unacademy, which is helping job seekers find their dream jobs, and you can get a job based on your skill and talent. So you do not have to depend upon any degree or any other people in your network, connections, LinkedIn, anything. So what are the benefits of participating? Basically, over 50+ companies, including dot startups and unicorns, are there. So that means you have to give a free level test, which is 1,000 marks, and you have to score above 700 marks. If you're eligible, if you think that you have passed the exam, you'll be eligible for a profile. We'll be creating a profile. We'll be sharing the profile with all of our client companies who are having 1,000+ job positions across business development, backend development, front development, etc., etc. So it's a great chance for you. You can go ahead and attempt this test, and once you clear it, you'll be able to get interviewed by any of our client companies, right? How to register on Relevel? So you can see there's a link given in the description, video description. You can click on it. When you click on it, it will take you to the relevel.com website, and then you have to put down a mobile number and an OTP. Once you do that, you will get inside this page in which you have to actually choose the test which you want to give. So let's say you are very good in front end, so you can select that particular test and you can go ahead and book a slot when you want to give the Relevel test. Slots are limited, so I suggest you to book it fast. Once you do this, you'll be able to fill in the details for the admit card. So you have to fill in the full name, email ID, birth year, current state, gender, all of these things, and then the referral code also. So the referral code is RIT10, which I have showed you already. You can click on apply, you can click on create account, your account will be created, and you'll get the sample paper here. So the sample paper you can download and you can see what all questions have been asked, how is the pattern, what all things have been done here, how the marks have been segregated, is it easy, medium or difficult. All those things will get an idea and it will be really helpful for you to crack the actual Relevel test, right? So if you have not done it, please go ahead and register for this particular thing. Also, if you have already done it, then all the best for the exam. If you are thinking that this is of 1000 marks and I am not prepared, well, I don't know all those languages and I won't be able to crack it, then what you can do, you can go ahead and check out CodeBeyond channel, check out all the videos which is available there, check out all the sessions which other educators are also taking, and upskill yourself. Once you're done, once you're ready, you can go ahead and register for Relevel. So that's all about Relevel. I hope you will register right away, and if you're not prepared, you will prepare as well. You can also join the Telegram channel. The Telegram channel link is again given in the description. You can go ahead and join it because all educators are giving their updates and notifications when they're coming live, at what time, with what topic. All of these things will be updated here. So please do join the Telegram channel as well. Also, please do subscribe the YouTube channel, which is CodeBeyond, and also hit the notification bell so that you get an updates and notifications in the YouTube app as well. And also please like and share so that more and more number of people will be able to get to know about this free content. So let's get started with today's topic, which is functional interface. Hi Somu. Will CodeBeyond be shut down? Good afternoon. So it will pause for some time. Yes, Chinmoy, it will be paused for some time. We are not sure. It's not an official news, but nothing will be deleted. Okay, so functional interface. Let's try to understand. Today and tomorrow there will be a long sessions, or maybe there will be a shorter sessions but in more sessions, more number of sessions. So try to join as much as you can and let's try to understand what is this topic. Once you understand this topic, we'll end this session, we'll move to another session, maybe file handling, and then we'll complete that. Then we'll move to our next session, which is inner class and nested class, and then we'll move to our threading, right? Then tomorrow we'll start with collection and map. That's our plan for today and tomorrow. So that's what we are going to do. I hope you guys will join. If you're not joining, no problem. The videos will be available so you can watch it anytime. Now, talking about functional interfaces, again, the word meaning, you can go ahead and see it because all the sessions, if you see the previous sessions, whichever I have taken the OOPS concept or any particular thing, I have already told you that you have to go with the meaning of the word. So you have to find the meaning of the word and then it will be very easy for you to understand the concept. Similarly, I've explained you polymorphism, inheritance, encapsulation, class, object, everything. And I hope those things have made sense and those examples are also there in your mind. The last topic was exception handling, and I think it did pretty well because you guys were responding a good feedback. And I think that session will really help you to understand the exception handling concept. If you have not seen those concepts, please go ahead and watch it. It will really help you. Functional interface, you can see there's a word already which is interface and there's a word functional, right? So you must be understanding that it is related to interface, correct? Okay, and maybe some functions, methods kind of thing is there. So this is a new feature which is there in Java, from Java 8 to Java 9. And this is something which has changed the format of writing a Java code. So we'll try to see what is it. Now, when we talk about interface, we know some of the things about interface, right? Because we have seen what is abstraction, what is interface, why interface came into the picture. We all have seen that, right? Now, once interface came into the picture because of multiple inheritance, then interface was designed in such a manner that if you're writing or making a class as interface, that means all the methods inside that interface will be only declared and not defined, right? Later on in Java 8, they told that static and default methods can be there as a concrete method, but public methods cannot be there. So right now we only know that for an interface, methods can be there, the public methods can be there, which can be only declared, not defined. Other than that, static and default methods can be there in our interface as well. That we know, right? So let's have a look what is it saying about function interface. So there are two things. First is function interface, which is a concept, and then there is something called as lambda expression, which is uh, which is a concept to do this function interface. Okay, so basically to do the practical part of it, we use lambda expression. The lambda expression is an expression which we use to write the function interface and to complete that particular part. Okay, so function interface is a theory type of concept and lambda expression is a practical kind of thing, but it is the same. It both matches each other. So we'll try to see how this happens and how this actually works. Okay. Before starting this, we have a session at 3 p.m. We have a session at 8 p.m. One more session will be there in between, or maybe late night 10 p.m. I'm not sure about it, but you will get to know about it. So please join the Telegram channel, because there you will get an update 10 minutes before. So please do join that so that you get an update. Any which ways, if you don't want to see the live session, there will be always a video, so you can watch it anytime. So this session again will be of 1 hour, because it's a small topic and I don't want to stretch it. It'll be of 1 hour, and let's see how it goes. So an interface that contains exactly one abstract method is known as function interface. Very easy definition, nothing else. So we have understood this, that an interface that contains exactly one abstract method. Exactly one means exactly one. So there can be a static method, there can be a default method, but one public abstract method only. So only one public abstract method. Other methods can be there which can be default static, but not any other public abstract method. Only one public abstract method. So that kind of interface is called as functional interface. Okay. We do not write function interface. We just say that that particular interface is a function interface. Okay. Let's try to see why do we call it as function interface. So it can have any number of default static methods, but can only contain only one abstract method. It can also declare methods of object class. What is the meaning of that? See, I have already told you that object is a class, not that object, the class object. I've told you one object is which we create, right? With the use of the class, we create one object. That's our object. We can use that object to call any method or call any variable. That's a normal object. But then there is a class which is already there in Java as a predefined class. That is an object class, capital Object. So in that object class, we have some predefined methods. Like I have already showed you one of the method, which was toString, right? So that toString is one of the object class methods. So we can use those methods in our function interface. We can use those. There's no problem. So we can use or declare the methods of object class as well, right? But strictly there will be only one abstract public method. Okay. Function interface is also known as single abstract method interface or SAM interfaces. It will be good if you do not use this term in front of interviewer. Just use the term function interface, because their main motto will be to understand whether you know about lambda expression or not. Because here the main motto is not function interface. Here the main motto is about lambda expression, how to write the expression, how actually that expression works, and why is it required. That is the main thing which an interviewer will ask you, right? It's not the main thing, the function interface. The main part is the lambda expression. To do the lambda expression, you need to first understand what is function interface. So that is the concept behind it. So it's a new feature in Java which helps to achieve function programming approach, right? Let's have a look at it. How does it look like, and how do we actually write that particular program of function interface? Okay. So I think this was one of the program where we were doing the exception. So if you have not seen what was it? It was, I think, a user defined expression. No, that says a normal exception. Yeah, so we did this. If you have not seen the earlier session, please go ahead and watch it. You will understand what is this code. Right now, I'll just erase it, and we'll try to show you one code in which we can have a functional interface. Okay. Okay. So now have a look here. Basically what we have done, we have an interface which is sayable, and then we have void say string message. So basically what is happening, there is only one public abstract method which you can see, right? There's only one, correct? And nothing else. We can have something else. I'll show you that that example also, but right now we have only one. And then we have the main class, which is implementing, obviously because it's an interface, so we have to use implements. That means inheritance is happening here, and then we are redefining. That means because we cannot create an object, so we need to do this. You must be knowing that all interfaces, you have to have an class which will inherit, so that you can actually define your undefined method. So we have just defined our undefined method, and we have created one of the object of it, and then we are using that object to do this. So it will work. It will give you hello there. That's totally fine. But here, this is what is a function interface. So this is what is called as function interface. Okay, very easy. It will give you hello there as the output. There's no change, but this is what is called as your function interface. So let's try to see how else we can write, what other things we can write in our code. So have a look at this. So these are now something which is called as the methods of object class. Okay, so hash code I have not taught you, but maybe tomorrow in the map concept I'm going to teach you this. So hash code is a method which is there from the object class, and that's why it is written here. And this, you can see it is only declared here because it is public abstract. Same thing here and same thing here. So the same thing I have also written, it can also declare methods of object class. So you can declare the methods of object class. You cannot define it. You can declare the methods of object class. There is no problem in it. Okay, you can do that. So this will also work. But let's say if I'm writing here, this. So now this is not a function interface. This will be becoming a normal interface. Okay. How to actually check whether it will be a function interface or not? So there's something called as annotation. Okay. So annotation is basically @ symbol. I've already told you this earlier, but I've not explained you in a more detailed way. So if you see here, we have written your function interface, but it is giving me an error, as you can see. And if I check this, you can see remove annotation, right? So let's say if I remove that, you can see now error is not there. So these annotations are nothing. This is a very small topic. That's why I did not wanted to teach you in a different session as well. This is just one of the annotations which you can use to tell the system or to tell the JVM that this is where this concept is getting placed, or this is what is the function interface. You must have seen somewhere I have also used overloading or overriding kind of annotations. You can use those. These are also some of the new features which came into the picture. But this, if you do not use also, the program is gonna work. So this will not give you any error, even if you have not written annotations. Okay, annotations are mostly like a comment. Okay, so it's basically giving an idea that this is where it is called as a function interface. Also, most of the time it is used in server-based projects. So there it is very, very useful. But here right now, this is not useful. You can write it. You don't want to write it. That's totally fine. Okay, but you can understand, right? Say once I have written here void, you can see what happened, right? It gave me the error. So that's why I just showed you what is a function interface annotations. So I hope annotations is clear. I hope this is clear. I hope these methods are also clear. So what we have understood function interfaces are those interfaces where only one public abstract method can be there. The other default static methods can be there, and we can also declare the methods of the object class. Fine. So this is one function interface. Now, let's try to see some more examples. So if you look at this, right, this is not a function interface. If you look here, what we have done, we have done interface sayable, and then this is right now this is a function interface. But if you look at this, right, if you say where is the annotation written, it's written here, right? Suppose if I remove it from here and if I write it here, it's not giving me any error, right? So understand that wherever the function interface is there, you have to put it there. So basically, if this is the function interface, you have to put the function interface annotation here. Okay, even if you don't want to put it, it's fine. But if you're putting here, then have a look, it's giving me an error. Why is it giving me an error? Let's have a look. So if you see here, it is saying interface doable, extends sayable. So interface, which is a doable, and this is also an interface. That's why we are using extends. Please do not ask why we are not using implements, because in the previous session, I have told you in the inheritance or in the interface section, I have told you that whenever the similar things are getting inherited, you have to use extends keyword. So that's why extends keyword is getting used here. But if you look at it here, doable is not a function interface. Doable is not a function interface because it is extending. And if we are extending, that means this particular undefined method is also here. So now it is having two public abstract methods. So that's a very common thing. That means doable is not a function interface. That's why it's giving me an error. So these type of things can be asked to you in some of the situations, some of the cases. So please keep a mind of it. This will give you a compile time error. This will not work. Okay, let's try to see this one. So have a look at this. This is basically a main. Okay, so we have an interface, we have the one default method, so it's fine. And then we have an interface. So this is not a function interface. It's written here. That means this is a function interface. So now have a look. It is extending doable and it's totally fine because this is the default method and we can have a default method in our function interface. It's fine. And this is only having one public abstract method. So sayable is a function interface. And then we are writing the main implement sayable, and then we are defining the undefined method, and also we are creating a object of main class, and then we are writing a message, and then we are printing do it also. So this is gonna work and this will give you the output. So there's no problem in that. Yes, I hope these use cases are helping to understand what is function interface. Now, so if you have done with function interface, you have understood what is this. Let's try to understand what is a Lambda expression, because that is the one thing which is connected with function interface, and we need to understand that ho kya raha hai Lambda expression mein, right? And what is the concept behind it. So let's understand that. Lambda expression is a new and important feature of Java, which was included in Java SE8. SE8 is basically a version. It provides a clear and concise way to represent one method interface using an expression. So it provides a clear and concise way to represent one method interface. One method interface is what? One method interface means function interface, right? Because function interface is what? One method interface using an expression. So we can use an expression, that means one particular operator or kind of one symbol that will be able to tell me how we can use function interface. It is very useful in collection library, mostly the collection framework, and it helps to iterate, filter, and extract data from collection. What's a collection? Collection is basically a framework. I'll tell you this tomorrow because we have sessions, but please understand right now what is it. So collection, if you remember, if you know the meaning of collection is what? Collection means a group of thing, right? So if a group of thing is there, we can, if you want to get something from that group of things, if you want one thing from that group of thing, you will iterate or you will filter or you will extract, right? So from collections, we can do these three things. We can iterate, we can filter, we can extract data from there, right? So there are a lot of array list, linked list, queue, stack. There are a lot of things which is there in collection from where we can extract data, filter data, or iterate data from there. For this, we use Lambda expression as well. We'll try to see one more example of array list today, and we'll see how is it working. So don't worry. The Lambda expression. So Lambda expression is used to provide the implementation of an interface which has function interface. It saves a lot of code. In case of Lambda expression, we don't need to define the method again for providing the implementation. Here we just write the implementation code. So in Lambda expression, we are just using it to make our codes shorter. So the lines of code will be just less, and it is used to implement the function interface wala thing. So whatever we have understood about function interface, Lambda expression will make it easy to implement it. That's why this particular thing came into the picture. Lambda expression provides implementation of function interface. Now the syntax is very important here because this is one of the things which is called as an expression. This is what is called as expression. So if you see here argument list, there's an argument list. It can be empty, it can be non-empty, it can have multiple argument as well. And then we give this particular arrow symbol and then we write the body of that particular expression. So in this body, if you want to print something, you can print. If you want to write something, you can also do that. Okay, so let's try to see some of the examples of it. And let's see how function interface is gonna get implemented by using Lambda expression. This particular examples are also implementing function interface, but these examples are taking a long or large number of lines of code. Let's see how much line Lambda expression will take and how is it basically working. So this is an example of without Lambda expression. So you can see this is the main class. You can replace that, and you can see here this is a function interface, and then they are just writing int with the 10 and drawable D. Please understand here there's some different code which is written. I don't know if you can understand that. So here basically it's a constructor which we normally write the statement to create an object, right? But after this we used to give a semicolon. We never write in this way. We never wrote something in this way, right? We just put up a semicolon here and that's it. It will create a object for me and then we can use that object to do something else. But right now have a look what is happening. So this is basically a constructor which we are implementing right here itself. Okay, so this is you can say a constructor which is getting implemented, right? So drawable implementation using anonymous class. Okay, so this is what is called as. So without Lambda, we are not using any Lambda expression, but what are we doing? We are implementing drawable constructor using an anonymous class. Anonymous class means जिस class का कोई नाम नहीं है. We don't have any name to this class. We have just mentioned one block of code here in which a draw method is written and we are printing drawing plus width. And then we have called d.draw. So d is the object of drawable. That means drawable के अंदर तो जाएगा ही और draw के अंदर जो भी है वो print हो जाएगा. So if you look here, draw के अंदर भी यहाँ कुछ नहीं है, but we have implemented it. We have implemented the code of it using an anonymous class. So that's why we can also do this. Normally हम लोग क्या करते थे, हम लोग यहाँ पे एक class बनाते थे जो extend करता था drawable को. Correct? We used to do something like this. Extend नहीं, implement. We used to do something like this. We used to do something like this here, right? But अच्छा main नहीं कर सकते. Yeah. So and then we used to write here the method. We used to write here the draw method. We used to define it. The undefined methods we used to define it. But right now, if you do not want to do that, you can also do it here. It's the same thing. It's just that इसमें anonymous class का use हो रहा है. So this is a new thing which you have understood. I hope this makes sense. It's just that the undefined method is getting defined. So it's totally fine. You can do this as well. And then d.draw. So this is another way of doing it. Let's try to understand कि lambda expression में अगर इसी code को करें तो कैसे करेंगे, ठीक है? So let's try to see in that manner. So, okay, let me just run this first and then I will write the lambda expression code. So drawing 10, we are getting drawing 10. That means width का जो value है वो यहाँ पे print हो रहा है, ठीक है? Make sense because ये same block में है and local है तो print हो रहा है, right? Let's try to change this code. Now have a look. Same code, same in function interface, same thing, same variable. Here what we are doing is we wanted to create an object, which we are doing, but as you can see, we are not using any new keyword. So that means memory allocation maybe is not happening, right? But have a look, what are we doing? Do you remember the syntax of lambda expression? We have written argument list and then the arrow sign and then the body, right? And I have told you this argument list can be empty, cannot be empty. It depends on your code. So have a look at this. This is what is an expression of Lambda expression. And here we do not have any particular argument as well. So we have drawable d2 equal to no arguments. No arguments in the sense we don't want to pass any arguments. अगर यहाँ पे कोई arguments लिखते तो we have to pass any particular value, but right now we don't have it. We don't want anything to pass, so we are not doing this. उसके बाद arrow है symbol, उसके बाद it is printing this particular thing. How does it know it will go to draw only? How does it know कि ये draw के पास ही जाएगा? That's one question which you need to understand. So if I run this, you can see it will print drawing 10 itself. It will print drawing 10. But अगर ये drawing 10 print हो रहा है, that means draw method is getting called, draw method is getting called, and then why is it coming here? And इसको पता कैसे चल रहा है कि ये draw ही है? This is the draw method which is getting defined here. How does it get to know? And you can see how simple this code is now looking. The earlier code was having the anonymous class and then we were creating the object. उसमें memory location भी ज़्यादा होता because you have to create a memory location for that object. उसमें store करते. So that makes sense. But here implementation is very easy. It is happening. Now let's understand how it is happening. So basically with Lambda, what is the concept behind it? Drawable is the function interface. We know that. And we also know कि इस type का expression, the Lambda expression, we can only use with function interface, right? So whenever you're using a function interface and you're saying D2, so this function interface basically knows कि आपको इस function interface के बारे में आप बात कर रहे हो. The Lambda expression knows कि आप इस function interface के बारे में बात कर रहे हो क्योंकि Lambda expression function interface is connected. So if you're using the Lambda expression, it knows that you're talking about the drawable. It knows that you want me to go to drawable. And if there is only one particular abstract method, which is the rule of function interface, तो आप यहाँ पे अगर कुछ ही लिख रहे हो, that means you want me to go there and place this particular thing there. You want me to place this println there. You want to define the draw method. So Lambda expression is automatically doing everything without me writing everything. I am not saying it to them कि ड्रॉ फंक्शन का डिफाइन कर रहा हूं मैं या फिर ये फंक्शन इंटरफेस का मेथड है. आई एम नॉट सेइंग ऑल दोस थिंग्स. जस्ट दिस एरो सिंबल इज डूइंग ऑल दोस थिंग्स. सो दिस एरो सिंबल इज अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि यूजर वांट्स मी टू put this particular definition inside the draw method, which is a part of function interface. So this is what is happening. So here the implementation is much more easy, less code. Normal interface will also do this. Please explain what is the difference in function interface. Normal interface will not do the same thing. Normal interface में आप ये नहीं कर पाओगे. Function interface में ही ये काम करेगा. Okay. So this is one of the example. Let's try to see some more examples. So अभी हमने देखा था we have no parameter here, as you can see, right? So it is printing something, right? Now, so no parameter and it is printing something. Let's try to see one example where no argument, but it will not print anything. It will return something. So let's try to see that. So have a look at this. Very simple code. You have the interface. यहाँ पे कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हैं जो नहीं आ रही हैं, राइट? सबसे पहला आपका कोड बहुत छोटा छोटा आ रहा है बिकॉज ऑफ लैम्डा एक्सप्रेशन. सेकेंड थिंग, आपको एक और क्लास नहीं बनाना पड़ रहा है जिसको आप इम्प्लीमेंट कर रहे हो सेबल के साथ जस्ट टू डिफाइन दिस पर्टिकुलर मेथड. यू आर नॉट डूइंग दोज ऑल थिंग्स. ऑल्सो यू आर नॉट बेसिकली यूजिंग द separate memory location for the object to call this particular method. You are not doing all those things. So all these things are only happening with this particular arrow expression, or we can say lambda expression, right? So ये भी example बहुत common है. I hope you have understood this because this makes sense. In earlier one we just called the draw function. Here we are calling it with the print because we are returning. So it's kind of a function, this kind of a method which is returning this particular message, which gets returned where? Here. That means inside the say ka method, because lambda expression is used to define that undefined method. So when you do this, it's gonna print I have nothing to say. Any doubt till here? Because आगे थोड़ा topics change होगा. You will get to know little more about some other concepts. So please do let me know if you have any doubt here. So this was no parameter. Let's try to see single parameter and have a look at it. So okay, 1 second. I'll take that example. Suman's 1 second. So where is it? Without lambda one example, right? Acha, this one. Okay. Fine, have a look at it. Let's go back. I think that's the drawable one. This one, right? So have a look at here. Very good question. But again, that's the same thing which I've told you. So basically, yes, you cannot create an object of drawable, but have a look at it. Same thing is happening. We are not creating an object. We are trying to attempt it, right? So let's say that I'm removing this, okay? And I'm putting up a semicolon here. You can see what is happening. It is giving me an error. It is saying that drawable is abstract, cannot be instantiated. That's the same error which we're expecting. We were expecting this particular thing. This is one error. This is a big error. The another error is that this is not defined as well, okay? So if these two things we want to overcome it, if you want to write a similar code and you want to overcome it, we can do that. What we can do is we can write an anonymous class. That's what is this. Okay. So what we are doing is, see, यहाँ पे ये brown, can you see that thing? Brown color हो गया ये, right? Why is it brown color? Because this block is basically making this undoable. That means इसको consider नहीं कर रहा है वो. So if you are making an anonymous class here, this says that you are not using the new keyword and you are not using the drawable constructor. You are just saying that I want to implement the drawable interface using an anonymous class. So you are implementing the drawable interface using an anonymous class. ये जब भी brown हो जाता है ना, that is because of IntelliJ idea. उनका एक कॉन्सेप्ट है कि कुछ चीज़ें नहीं यूज होती है तो उसको ब्राउन कर देना. यू कैन सी पब्लिक भी यहाँ पे ब्राउन है बिकॉज इवन इफ यू डोंट राइट दिस इट्स फाइन, राइट? तो जो चीज़ें को नीड नहीं है वो आप नहीं लिखो. तो वो ब्राउन कलर जो दिखा रहा है इसका मतलब वो यहाँ पे यूज नहीं हो रहा है. ठीक है, जब मैंने अभी नॉर्मल दिखाया था आपको तब ये कलर था. कैन यू सी दैट द कलर इज देयर, राइट? तो बेसिकली इसका बोलने का मतलब यह है कि यहाँ पे अभी न्यू कीवर्ड और ड्रॉएबल कंस्ट्रक्टर नहीं बन रही है. ठीक है, ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएशन नहीं हो रहा है. इज जस्ट द ड्रॉएबल इंप्लीमेंटेशन विच वी वांट टू डू यूजिंग अ एनोनिमस क्लास. ओके, lambda expression also involves kind of inheritance concept. So is this also the part of oops? See, everything is related to oops. ठीक है, एवरीथिंग. इफ यू सी पॉलीमॉर्फिज्म के अंदर ओवरराइडिंग होता है, उसमें इनहेरिटेंस आ जाता है. इनहेरिटेंस के अंदर फिर एब्स्ट्रैक्शन आ जाता है क्योंकि उसमें इंटरफेस आ जाता है. सो एवरीथिंग इज कनेक्टेड. अगर आप जब इंटरफेस में आते हो तो आप फंक्शन इंटरफेस में आ जाते हो, फिर आप लैम्डा एक्सप्रेशन भी बताते हो. ठीक है, तो एवरीथिंग इज कनेक्टेड. बट आप जब ऊप्स कॉन्सेप्ट बोलते हो तो वो सिर्फ 4 है. ठीक है, तो अगर आपको ऐसे नॉर्मली अगर कोई बोलता है कि ऊप्स कॉन्सेप्ट पता है क्या, तो आप 4 ही चीज को डिफाइन कर रहे हो. ठीक है, एब्स्ट्रैक्शन, दैट मीन्स डेटा हाइडिंग, इन अदर वर्ड्स इनहेरिटेंस, पॉलीमॉर्फिज्म, इनकैप्सुलेशन. ये 4 मेन है. उसके बाद आपके पास एक्स्ट्रा बहुत चीज़ें हैं लाइक क्लास एंड ऑब्जेक्ट है, दिस कीवर्ड्स एंड ऑल है, ये फंक्शन इंटरफेस है, वो अलग चीज़ है, वो इनसाइड है, वो डेप्थ है. तो आपको वो सब चीज़ें नहीं बतानी है. बट येस, इट डज, यू कैन से दैट इनडायरेक्टली इट कम्स अंडर दैट. Hi Kanhaiya Mishra. Is it oops or oop? Anything you can say is just object oriented programming concepts. वो S लगा देते हैं to just Ritwik or something like that. Okay, it's not S is not important. It's fine. Full form is important. Object oriented programming concept. Any interface with only one abstract method is a function interface. Yes. Fine. ये हो गया. Let's move ahead. So without lambda, मैंने with lambda भी बताया, and then we have also seen the return वाला. Let's see single parameter. So एक lambda expression जिसके अंदर only single parameter आएगा. Okay. Let's have a look at this. इसके ऊपर भी एक class होना चाहिए. So we have a now have a look. मैंने आपको बताया था पिछले वाले कोड में, मैंने आपको बताया था कि आपके undefined method के पास, in your undefined method you don't have any parameter. That's why in your lambda expression also you don't have any argument. जैसे ही आपके parameter आएंगे argument भी आएगा. So you can see here Sable is a function interface because it is only having a public abstract method which is undefined. And also you can see here that what we are doing. So there's a main method Sable s1. Again, do not say that we are creating an object. No, we are not. We just want a reference variable which can go and we can use this particular reference variable to see the lambda expression working. So we have used here one particular argument which is name, and then we have used the arrow expression, and then we are returning hello plus name. So lambda expression knows that user is talking about Sable interface, so I have to go there and I have to see whether there's only one abstract method or not. So yes, it is there. That means user wants me to put this name ka value there. So let's see what it is calling. So you can see it is calling s1.say and then Sonu. So s1.say is here. That means name will become Sonu and it's gonna say hello Sonu. Similarly, it's gonna work similarly in this manner. So you can see s2 equal to name. There's only one argument, so you can omit the parenthesis. That is totally fine. You can delete it. But suppose if you have two or more arguments, you have to put the parenthesis. So these two examples are the same. It's gonna give you the also same answer. Hello Sonu, hello Sonu. So this is one of the example of single argument. I hope this is fine. Fine. So this was single parameter. Let's try to see multiple parameter, and then we'll move into the collection and other kind of examples where we'll using a for loop and all. We'll be also using for loop here. We'll see how we can run that program. So we have this particular addable function interface where we have add as our public abstract method. We have two parameters now here, int a and int b. So as you can see here, we are using here addable ad1, which is a reference variable, which is pointing to this. And this is basically the argument a comma b, which is adding, and then the added number will be shown to us. So let's see what is happening. ad1.add. Now have a look. This is the body, okay? This is the body. If you have seen my earlier code, if you have seen this, you can see what is the body. Can you see that? How is the body written? Right? So this is the body which is written here. It's in curly brackets. You can see here as well. It's in curly brackets, right? That's how we have written. And then when we are calling it, it's directly returning this particular part to the method, and then we are getting it. Then we are getting the printed statement, correct? But have a look at here. Here the things are little much different because we are not returning anything, and also we are not printing anything in this part. We are just writing a plus b. That means only the logic. Here as well, if you can see, we have ad2 int a comma int b, and we have a plus b again, right? So multiple parameters in lambda expression, multiple parameters with data type in lambda expression. You can change the data type if you want, and have a look at the output. So 30 and 300. So this is also will be fine. If you don't want to print in your body block, it's totally fine. If you don't want to return something, it's totally fine. You can just write the logic itself. It will work. Okay. So these are some use cases. Please try to understand, because examples will be many more, but you need to understand what is the difference between all those examples. So I hope this also makes sense. You can see how much easy it is now, right? If you want to do this in your own manner, what you will do? You have the one way is that you have to put another class, you have to implement that with that, and then you have to define the add method there, and then you can create the object of that class, and then you can call it. That is one way. The second way is to create an anonymous class. An anonymous class will be created here with the new keyword and the constructor, and then you can use it, right? So there are two ways, but those all two ways are a little much long, but here you can see easily you can do this. Fine. So I hope there's no problem. Let's move ahead with or without return keyword. Yeah, so with or without return keyword is same. Without return keyword is this. And with return keyword, we'll have the return keyword. So let me show you one example of that as well. Have a look at this one first. Clearly, you can see that there's no return keyword. There's no system.out.println in my Lambda expression ka body. Lambda expression is finishing here itself. But we have not used any return keyword. We have not used any kind of body like the curly brackets as well. Correct? Add2 will override the add method. Where is add? Add1 and add2 are reference variables, which is referencing to the add method. Okay, so add2 will override the add method. Doesn't make sense here. Have a look at it. Add1 is a reference variable. This a comma b is the parameter of this particular method. Okay, so lambda expression, this arrow function knows that it has to put this particular parameter here. It has to put or give this particular parameter to add, because this is a thing of addable interface. It knows that these two things are connected. So it directly passes this argument to the add method. Add1 is just a variable which is containing all those things. All these things it is containing. So suppose when I'm writing ad1.add, then it knows that it has to refer to this a and b, not this a and b, because there can be multiple lambda expression in one program. So that's why we keep this reference variable to keep an difference between all those. Int a comma float a, int a comma float b, if you are saying. Have a look. So you can see here, see int and int, right? So it will not happen, no? We cannot use this. Here we are passing a and b because we know 10 and 20 are integers. So it's not giving me any error. But as soon as we put a float value, it is giving me an error. Similarly here also, this is just an example. Suppose here if I write float, this will work. One second. I have to make this. This is just an example. This is just an example that we can put a data type as well. You can only do this in this manner. There's no problem in that. You can do this simply in this manner. There's no problem in this. Okay. It's just that you have to mention a float. See, normally when you're doing this, it is giving me an error, right? Because you have not mentioned the data type here. So it is not being able to understand that यहाँ पे values क्या आएंगी. When you have written 10 and 20.0f, then it knows that this is an integer and this is a float. So here the calling this is fine. You can see it is matching and it's not giving me an answer here. But here it is not. तो यहाँ पे आपको यहाँ mention करना पड़ेगा data type. You have to mention data type. So you can see here यहाँ पे मैंने data type mention किया हुआ है. So अगर data types change होती हैं, you have to do that. ठीक है, अर्लियर कोड में यहाँ पे मैंने डेटा टाइप नहीं लिखा क्योंकि दोनों के दोनों वैल्यूज इंटीजर थे, तो इट कुड हैव इजीली अंडरस्टैंड कि यहाँ पे इंटीजर्स है, इसलिए नहीं लिखा। बट अगर डेटा टाइप चेंज होता है तो यू हैव टू मेंशन दैट। तो इस वाले को आप नहीं भी लिखोगे तो चलेगा, दिस जस्ट एन एग्जाम्पल, दिस जस्ट एन एग्जाम्पल कि आप का अगर डेटा टाइप डिफरेंट है तो यू नीड टू मेंशन दैट, क्योंकि लैम्डा एक्सप्रेशन नहीं समझ पाएगा ना, दे वोंट बी एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई कि आपने यहाँ पे क्या डेटा टाइप आप चाहते हो, इट वोंट बी एबल टेक दैट। अगर कोई और डेटा टाइप होगा तो आपको कन्वर्ट करके जाना पड़ेगा, यू हैव टू यूज टू स्ट्रिंग और पारसेंट मेथड टू चेंज इट एंड देन यूज इट, तो वो और ज़्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेटेड कोड है। एक और क्वेश्चन था भैया, प्लीज इफ यू कैन टेल समथिंग अबाउट इनफिटिक जावा कॉन्सेप्ट। Yeah, so not right now. Let's see if tomorrow we can take that, maybe after collection map, because you know what is happening here. And first, let's complete the important concepts and then we'll talk about that. Any other question? ठीक है, so अभी हमने देखा तो यहाँ इस पर्टिकुलर ब्लॉक ऑफ कोड का लैम्डा एक्सप्रेशन जो कोड था उसमें हमने ना रिटर्न कीवर्ड यूज किया है, एंड ऑल्सो वी हैव नेवर यूज दी सिस्टम डॉट प्रिंटलन वाला कोड, नॉट इवन द ब्लॉक, राइट। So let's try to look कि अगर इसमें मैं दोनों चीज़ें करूँ, like using the return and without using the return. So let's have a look यहाँ क्या होता है। So have a look at this. We have the return वाला thing and we have the println वाला, no, we do not have the return keyword वाला thing. So this is an expression, lambda expression वाला code where we are not using a return keyword, but in this one we are using it. So you can see that totally the same difference, right? And if I run this, we'll get the same output. ठीक है, so this is also taking one line more than this one, right, or two lines more than this one, so it's better to do in this manner. Okay, so this is basically if there's only one particular code which you are returning, there's only one thing which you are returning, so even if you don't write return, it will work. So you can remove the return, you can remove the curly brackets, you can just write simply like this, it will work. It is as simple as if and else keyword. When you write if ka condition and you do not have, you have only one particular sentence in your if condition, so you do not put the curly brackets, right, you just write that particular statement. So it's the same thing, there's only one particular thing which is getting returned, so you do not have to mention this. Okay, you can write it without return keyword or return keyword. Fine, easy, simple. So these interfaces, this kind of interfaces can be done using a lambda expression. Please make it very much strictly into your mind that if you are creating another method in your interface, lambda expression will not work there. Okay, so if it is a function interface, then only it's gonna work. That you need to understand. Now we'll use one for each loop. We'll try to see how this for each loop works, because you do not know about collections. So let's see. Okay, so have a look. I know you must be having many questions in this program because this is totally a different kind of program and you do not know about it. This is what is called as a collection example. Okay, collection framework example here. So just giving you a brief introduction to collection, because tomorrow a deep discussion will be there. कल से पहले थोड़ा सा एक brief knowledge दे देते हैं what is this. So basically collection के अंदर there is many classes, many interfaces, but the most common one is array list. And array list, if you guys know about in DSA or any other kind of stuff, you must have learned about it. You must be knowing that array list is one kind of thing in collection framework. I'm not going to say if it is class or something else, but it is something, so which is used as an array. Okay, I am not going to say also what is the difference between array and array list right now, because you can get confused. Why we are not using array, why we are using array list, blah blah. We'll talk about that tomorrow, don't worry. But right now what is happening, array list is something like a array itself, it can have multiple items, so we can add multiple items. The thing is here we can have heterogeneous, that means we can have different kind of data as well. So even if you want to add a number, integer, or a string or a character, you can do that as well. In arrays, normal arrays, you cannot do that. You should have a homogeneous kind of data type. That means if you're adding a integer, you have to have an integer only. All the numbers should be an integer only. You cannot add a string or a character in between. But here we can do that. So here what are you doing is we are just creating an object of an array list. So you must have understood what is an array list. If you are creating an object, then what is an array list? And we are creating an object of it. Using that object, we are adding some elements inside that array list. If you're not understanding this particular line, it's totally fine. Tomorrow session will come. We will see this. बट यहाँ पे आपको कुछ समझ में आ गया होगा कि एरे लिस्ट क्या है और ये लिस्ट क्या है और ये लिस्ट क्या है. अगर ये लिस्ट समझ में नहीं आया है, you can also write here array list. There is no problem in that. You can do this as well. Now I hope this makes sense. Okay, ये string is basically a generic. This is called as a generic. This is basically to tell the array list that, hey array list, I know that you can put any kind of values. I know you can have integer. I know you can have a string. I know you can have a character. But right now I want you to have only strings. So that is what is generic. So generic is just saying that please have that particular data type only. I don't want any other data type, right? So if you don't write this generic, here you can add an integer and a character, anything. But if you're writing a string, you mean to say that I'm strictly saying that please have a string only. I do not want to have any integer in my array list. That's what is the generic. So we have done this. That means in my array list, which is list, is basically having 4 items in that, which is Ankit, Mayank, Irfan, and Jay. And then we are using for each, which is a looping construct in array list as well. For each you must be knowing about when you're using for loop, but this is not how we write it. This is how we write it in our collection framework. So in collection framework, there's a very easy way to iterate these, which is called as iterator also. So to easily iterate these elements, we use this kind of thing. We will talk about this again, so do not get confused. Right now you just have to understand कि कितना small code है और कितना छोटा code है when you are using a concept of lambda expression. So what you're doing here, you're just saying list dot for each n and then system dot of println. Only this much. You don't have to do anything else. So this n is nothing but a, you can say, a variable which is going to each of these elements inside the array list and is printing all of them one by one. So if I run this, you can see all these things are getting printed. Okay? So it's very easy to write, and that is what is the use of lambda expression as well in our collection. So, and now you can, that's why it makes sense here. You can see here, it says here somewhere, it is very useful in collection library. So it's very easy to use, and that's why we can use it. Now you must be having one question that right now I was saying that lambda expression is mostly used with function interfaces, right? Yes, it was, and that's why it came into the picture. As I told you about multiple intents, multiple intents नहीं हो रहा था, इसलिए interface आया था, right? But now interface is doing a role play. Interface को अब inheritance के साथ नहीं जोड़ा जाता, interface को अब normally एक different topic में लिया जाता है, and it can work individually as well. So reason of interface का आना, right, was multiple intents पहले. बट when developers got to know कि इंटरफेस एक खुद में ही एक अच्छा कॉन्सेप्ट है, इसके अंदर कुछ कर सकते हैं, देन दे ट्राई टू मेक इट एन इंडिविजुअल कॉन्सेप्ट, और उसके अंदर भी कुछ चीज़ें बनने लग गई. सिमिलरली इंटरफेस के बाद फंक्शन इंटरफेस आया, फंक्शन इंटरफेस के बाद लैम्डा एक्सप्रेशन आया. जब लैम्डा एक्सप्रेशन आया, पीपल गॉट टू नो दैट इसको सिर्फ फंक्शन इंटरफेस के साथ नहीं यूज़ करेंगे, वी कैन यूज इट विथ एनीथिंग एल्स एज वेल. सो दिस इज ऑल डेवलपमेंट प्रोसेस. ओके, दिस इज हाउ द डेवलपमेंट हैपेंड, एंड वी कैन नाउ यूज इट विथ कलेक्शन एज वेल. Right? So reason कुछ और था, but then we can use this particular thing in a different manner as well. That's what was happened in the Java development, and that's why we can use this as well. Dynamic array, yes, that's what. List and array list difference, that I'm going to tell you about tomorrow. अभी बोलूँगा तो confusion हो जाएगा सबको. So yes, there is a lot of difference between those, but very common and very easy to understand. Tomorrow I'll talk about that. ठीक है, tomorrow कल यही सब बात होने वाला है. Array list, linked list, hash map, trees, queues, stack, map framework, architecture, यही सब होने वाला है कल. So we will understand that, don't worry. Okay, one more example. So now we'll be using multiple statements. Let's have a look. What is this? So basically we have an function interface, and we are writing a main method. We have a variable in which we have used this particular argument, and then we have a lambda expression, so we know what is happening here. But then we have some more statements here. We don't have only one particular code, but we have a long, or we can say multiple statements which we have written. First is string 1, which is having I would like to say. String 2 is adding that I would like to say with the message, and we do not know what will the message. And then it is returning that particular string 2. So that means it's gonna return I would like to say and plus with that message. So if you look here, we are doing println person.say time is precious. So what is happening? Say method is getting called, which is here. It is expecting a message argument, which is time is precious. So it's then going inside this whole lambda expression thing. It's gonna say I would like to say time is precious. Okay, so this is a multiple statement example. We have never done that because every time whatever example we have seen, we have just returned, or we have just written the logic, or we have just printed something. But here we can write multiple statements as well. Okay, fine. So I think this much will give you an idea about function interface and lambda expression. Our next topic is on file handling. So we'll talk about that at 3 p.m. and also thread concept. And thread concept will be a larger session, like it will be a longer session of 2 hours, because in thread there's too many topics which is there. So at night I will take that. You will get to know. So please be very sure that you have joined the Telegram channel so that you get to know about all these updates and notifications. I hope there's no problem in this and you have understood the concept of the new feature of Java, which was lambda expression and function interface. So please do join the Telegram channel. The link is given in the description. And also thank you so much for joining the session, and subscribe to the CodeBeyond channel, hit the notification bell so that you get an updated notification in the YouTube app as well. Also, please do like and share so that more and more number of people will get to know about this. Soon I'm gonna come back. So have a lunch and then let's come back again. Let's try to understand what is file handling and some other kind of topics as well. Daemon thread will also get discussed. Yes, in a very easy way, we are going to discuss that as well. Thread का थोड़ा लंबा topic होगा because that is a huge topic. So थोड़ा लंबा जाएगा. These are some small topics जो एक ही घंटे में हो जाता है. So I'm just finishing it quickly so that आपको ज़्यादा struggle नहीं करना पड़े long session के लिए. 1 hour में you can understand these small topics. Thank you so much, guys. I'll meet you again soon. Keep an eye on your Telegram channel and also in the YouTube playlist so that you do not miss out on any other sessions. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.